Part 4 continues when the Witch of the Notoria, Aya, and Yukina are seen in the dream world. Aya shows Yukina the memories of Natsuki from 10 years ago. Meanwhile, Sayako takes care of Kojo. Nothing is working, so Sayaka offers her blood. Her period blood, to be exact. Yuuma also arrives just then, completely injured but recovering from before. Yukina continues to dream about a nice slice of life anime with Sayaka and Kojo. All seems well, but Yukina realizes she's in a dream and she ends the genjutsu. She wakes up in her cage. Meanwhile, Yuuma also gives her blood to Kojo. Both of them get horny. Kojo bites her and takes her blood. Then he forces himself on Sayaka and takes her blood as well. Despite being forced on, Sayaka allows it to happen. Once Kojo regains his powers, he releases his fourth familiar. The whole island is covered in mist. Meanwhile, Aya starts monologuing about her desire to prove that witches are actually innocent. For that, she'll hurt more people. Really counterproductive, to be honest. She asks Yukina to join her in his noble cause. Suddenly, Kojo releases his third familiar and attacks Aya. Then he frees Yukina from her cage. So, Aya re-releases the worst criminals that she has power over. The 6 criminals return, but Kojo quickly defeats them this time. Yukina also shatters Aya's magical barrier, but Aya summons some tentacles and tries to go tentacle hentai on her. Thankfully, Yukina saves herself. Aya pulls out her grimoire to take the upper hand, but Natsuki was waiting for this. She uses her magic to take the book from Aya. In doing so, she acquires her lost time and powers. Aya is near defeat, but she feeds her soul to a demon, and as a result, she becomes a demon herself. So they all work together and they finally defeat her. Meanwhile, convict Meiga steals a prototype anti-demon lance just like Yukina's. In search of an artifact known as Wiseman's blood that Kensei Kanase has in his custody, alchemist Ku Amatsuka attacks his facility and visits him. Kensei has no intentions of helping him, so they get into a fight. The group will be going to a training camp away from the island. For that, they go shopping at the mall. Kojo is also traveling with them to be their personal shopping bag carrier. Suddenly, he is attacked by Ku. Ku wants to offer Cannon as a sacrifice for some ritual. Ku makes a comment regarding an occurrence that happened at Nina Adelard's monastery 5 years ago. Yukina also joins the fight and cuts his arm, but Ku uses metal to regain his arm, proving that he's kinda like the Full Metal Alchemist. Despite being confident, he leaves for now, as all anime villains do. Kojo goes to Natsuki to report the incident. He is met by Astarte, who gives him a detailed Wikipedia explanation about alchemists and their desire to reach godhood. She also mentions the legendary Nina Adelard and Wiseman, 2 alchemists who are said to have reached that level and would be centuries old now. Kojo and Asagi decide to go to Nina Adelard's monastery, but Natsuki stops them. In the process, Asagi loses a priceless ear stud. Natsuki tells them that Kensei was attacked by Ku some time ago. They decide to take care of Cannon even more. Yukina takes Kojo to a shady area of the city where the island branch of the Lion Kings is hidden. Yukina's teacher appears as a cat familiar and greets them. On meeting her, Yukina surrenders her halberd to her. Meanwhile, Ku performs a ritual in the demolished chapel using Wiseman's blood to drive his former mentor Nina out. Outside the monastery, Asagi goes looking for her missing earrings. She calls Kojo to help her. Inside the monastery, Nina is released and she consumes a human to regain her old form. Asagi, who is outside, is seen by Ku, who cuts her. While she starts dying, Kojo yells on the phone. Kojo and the others arrive at the place. When he sees Asagi dead, he loses control, but Yukina calms him down. Ku arrives just then and starts gloating. Kojo and Yukina immediately fight him, but Ku gets rid of his human form and takes the form of Wiseman's blood. They somehow manage to defeat him. Suddenly, Asagi wakes up. She is well and alive, despite being covered in blood. She does not seem to be hurt at all. Since she can't go home covered in blood, Kojo takes her home where Nagisa takes care of her. As she is showering, Asagi sees a red mark on her chest, which she touches. Doing so causes the ancient alchemist, Nina Adelard, to take over her body. Nina walks around the house naked, causing Kojo to donate blood to the carpet. Nina covers herself up and reveals everything about herself to Kojo, who thanks her for saving Asagi's life. Meanwhile, Ku has survived his battle and he's walking around town, but Natsuki faces him and beats him easily. He releases a black ball which she takes. Elsewhere, Nina says that she'll get out of Asagi's body once she gets Wiseman's blood. They sit down for dinner, and Yukina also joins them. The next day, the girls leave for their training camp while Kojo stays back home. Nina senses Wiseman's blood moving around the city. Turns out, Ku didn't actually die at Natsuki's hands. Ku goes around in his terrible liquid form while all the humans try to stop him. They use liquid nitrogen to stop him for now, but, surprise surprise, turns out Ku is still in his normal human form. The liquid is actually called Wiseman's blood. They destroy the place and escape into the sea for now. Meanwhile, the girls are on their training cruise when they sense something strange coming from the water. Ku goes on the ferry and attacks the people there using his alchemy powers. Meanwhile, Nina and Kojo visit the ruined church where they find the bones of humans killed by Wiseman's blood. She also finds little bits of Wiseman's blood, so she takes it. She uses it to regain some of her powers. Back at the ferry, Ku is looking for Cannon to complete some ritual. She runs away while Yukina tries to hold him back. Kojo and Nina get ready to get on an airship that is provided to them by La Folia. Before they can enter, Yukina's teacher, the cat, comes and gives them Yukina's halberd to pass to her. Meanwhile, Ku corners Cannon and gets ready to attack her, but she talks about how she remembers him and how tragic his life has been. Ku cannot bear the truth, so he jumps in, but Yukina saves her with a small knife. When Ku creates shadow clones to kill them, Kojo and Nina arrive on the special aircraft. They stop Ku and give Yukina's halberd back to her. They start dominating Ku, so Ku takes out Wiseman's golden skull and throws it to the deck. Meanwhile, Wiseman's blood goes into the seawater to absorb any necessary materials from the sea. Once the required materials are obtained, Wiseman turns into a giant golden being and he attacks them. But Kojo releases his powers and blocks the attacks. Everyone is saved, but Kojo is turned into solid metal. Since he's not technically dead, he can't come back to life. Yukina starts crying over him. Suddenly, Nagisa gets possessed by Aurora again. Aurora uses Nagisa to kiss her own brother. Ew. Okay, I know. Kojo gets his powers back. Yukina also offers herself to Kojo, who drinks her blood again. Now that he has a lot of powers, he gets ready to beat up Wiseman. Kojo summons every single one of his familiars for that purpose. Meanwhile, Yukina uses her halberd to defeat Ku, who finally realizes that he was in the wrong. But Wiseman is still strong because he has become a perfect being using his alchemy powers. So Kojo releases his 11th familiar, which is a bodacious woman. The 11th familiar grabs Wiseman and disintegrates him to nothingness. Nina is freed up from her connection to Wiseman and she regains her real body, but she could not get all the blood, so she is a small size for now. Yukina wakes up with tears in her eyes when she imagines Kojo leaving him. Maybe she really does love him. Later at school, Yukina is changing in the locker room when a naked figure appears full-on Terminator style. The girl who looks just like Yukina attacks Yukina and then takes her clothes. Meanwhile, Lord Ardeal goes to a place that has been damaged terribly. He tells Sayaka that the dragon below their island is starting to move. Back at school, the mysterious person who looks just like Yukina runs into Kojo and Yaazi. She acts strangely in front of them, attracting Kojo's attention. She takes another step forward and treats Natsuki like a little girl. Natsuki immediately suspects something and grabs her breasts. Natsuki does not say anything for now. Then, the girl runs away while Kojo runs after her. Back at the destroyed place, a giant dragon appears out of the hole. Lord Ardeal laughs with excitement like a maniac. Kojo confronts the girl when he realizes that she's not Yukina. The real Yukina also appears with new clothes and her halberd, ready to murder the ish out of her. But their argument is disturbed by the appearance of the dragon from earlier. So, Natsuki creates a dimension controlling space around them. But suddenly, the dragon uses a portal to impale the strange girl. Then, it grabs Kojo and takes a lot of his powers before he can release himself. The dragon tries to attack Yukina using the same tactics, but she fights back. Since Kojo is weak from having his powers drained, the dragon attacks him, but Yukina fights the dragon, and in the process, her powerful halberd breaks. Just as the dragon attacks her, the strange girl from earlier wakes up. She uses her own familiar to stop the dragon. Turns out, she's also an immortal vampire, just like Kojo. She says she followed the dragon all the way here to stop him. Natsuki appears just then and takes responsibility for the new girl. The real Yukina is extremely depressed because her halberd broke. That night, the Lion King organization commands Yukina to return, which results in her being even more depressed. Later, the girl bathes with the girls and tells them about the dragon. Apparently, it's a man-made magical beast. It can distort time and space, and it will eat the magical veins which support their island. If that continues, then this island will sink. Asagi and her company also find out about the fluctuating energy levels. Later, reveals that she has been called by the Lion King organization. She is super sad, but does not show it. Kojo does not do anything. So Sayaka slaps him to his senses, and he goes to help Yukina because she helped him so many times by giving him her blood. On the way, he sees the dragon eating the magic of the island and also dominating the defense system. Asagi calls him and says that they have 30 hours before the island sinks, and then the phone lines go out. The mysterious girl goes to Yukina to help her. She says motivational lines, and then she uses her own magic to give her a new weapon. Elsewhere, Kojo uses her familiar to fight the dragon, but it's too powerful for him. So Natsuki and Astarte join the fight. They beat the dragon, but it comes back to life again. When Kojo uses his familiar against it, the dragon steals his powers again. So Lord Ardil comes and gets ready to go all out against the dragon. But he says that the island will get destroyed if they fight all out, so Yukina stops him for now. Turns out, the Lion King organization created this new halberd for Yukina, which took 20 years to make. She stops the dragon for a while, then she offers her neck to Kojo. He jumps in like a hungry man at a buffet, and thus he gets a power-up. Then Kojo, Yukina, and the girl combine their forces to beat the dragon so hard that it stops eating the island's magic. The island is saved. When they recover, Sayaka tells Yukina that she was not called back permanently. It was just for a regular medical checkup, and Sayaka also got a similar command. Now that the dragon is dead, the girl leaves. Before leaving, she calls Yukina Mother. Both Yukina and Kojo are confused, because, on top of that, the girl was a vampire, implying that Kojo and Yukina do it sometime in the future. In the far future, 20 years from now, the girl returns to the time period that she came from. She goes to look out at the island, which has now grown even larger into an empire called the Empire of the Dawn. And with that, the series is wrapped up. If you enjoyed the series, don't forget to leave a like to help the channel out. Thanks for watching!